Today, we are talking with a woman who took her core passion, something that is really important to her, and she created an entire B corporation around that and has been insanely successful. So we are going to be talking with Stephanie Pascarella and hearing how she has done this and what her takeaways are and what she can share with us. So she is an internationally recognized environmentalist and is a CEO and founder of Wash with Water. Welcome to the show, Stephanie.
Thank you. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. Yes, when we're recording, it's a Friday, and we were talking before we hit record saying how we're ready for it to be Friday.
Yeah, excited to be here.
Good. So when we do these shows, we just dive right in, Stephanie. So talk to us about how, I know that you were passionate about the environment. When did you decide, you know what, I'm going to create a whole business around this? What was that journey?
It's funny. So looking back now, it's all very evident this is what the journey was going to be and how it would unfold. But at the time, it was just a smaller pea size little bit that I was trying to start one step at a time. I was a new mom. I was working in corporate America, and I felt really disconnected from the work that I was doing in the workforce and how I felt when I was at home and what I wanted to create for this new child and the world around us. And so I just thought, well, maybe as a hobby, I'll create some products around bath time, which growing up had always been such a passion of mine, and kind of that peaceful moment in the day that brought a lot of tranquility. I was quite anxious as a little girl. Anxiety had carried with me through my 20s and was definitely peaking in corporate America. And I always remembered bath time as a child, just soaking in the water and feeling a bit of serenity. And I thought, it was so funny in motherhood, that part of the day was still bringing such a sense of tranquility with my new baby. And I thought, I wonder if other mothers are feeling this, pulled in so many different directions. We all choose so many different life paths as new moms. And I felt like this might be a really beautiful way to connect with other moms, is to pour a lot of love into bath time and make it something extraordinarily special. And that's how Wash with Water began. It was one bath, which was actually a kitchen sink at the time, where I was bathing Violet most evenings. It wasn't even in a bathtub, it was in a kitchen sink. And I thought, well, it will start as a hobby because I'm still working full time, and I'll just create some really special products. But the spark was ignited, and I could never look back. Once it started, it was like it took on a life of its own. I am always so intrigued by the fact that the name of the brand is Wash with Water. I came up with the name because I knew no matter where in the world a mother was, and no matter how she was bathing her child, she was washing her baby with water. There was that one connected piece we all shared. And so for me, Wash with Water at the time represented that bath water. And for some women in parts of the world, it's in a river or in a natural body of water that they're bathing, and others it's in an apartment high rise and they're in a sink, and for others it's a beautiful bathtub. But I thought we all are bathing with water, so Wash with Water made so much sense. But now, knowing how much work the brand has done for Ocean Conservancy, water has grown from the kitchen sink all the way to the biggest bodies of water in the world.
That is amazing.
Yeah,
what a great analogy, right? Kind of the foreshadowing of the business to go from a sink to the ocean. So now, are you selling product internationally yet, or where are you with your business?
Yes, we sell internationally, from Singapore to Canada, Australia, the United States, all over the world. And what's really exciting, and I was just looking, I geek out over the numbers, and I was looking for 2023 thus far. The very first product I ever developed, Sweet Pea and Me, it's a baby wash. And I had spent about 1.5 years developing this organic scent from natural botanicals. It just reminded me of the scent of a newborn baby's head. And that's where Sweet Pea and Me came from. So I thought, oh my God, this little girl who's now a junior in high school is going to grow up, and I just never want to forget this scent, and I want to bottle it up. But when we launched in Asia, it was the number one seller there. And so I feel that common thread between all moms, and daddies and caregivers smelling the top of their baby's head. There's something very nostalgic about it. And Sweet Pea and me to this day globally is just loved by everyone. And it always makes me so happy to know that my Italian schnoz led me in the right direction in the lab when I was developing that scent. It's so special. And I love that we can share that with parents all over the world.
It's that common thing, right? We all love the smell of our baby. And but who would have thought? Who would have thought? So what are some of the biggest, especially if you're international and you're a B corporation, I know there are a lot of challenges with achieving those goals, right? Those parameters. So what are some of the challenges that you faced and how have you gotten through those?
Yes, Wash with Water is not an overnight success. This brand has been around for over a decade. What has really led me to be successful through enormous challenges, including an unpredictable pandemic that we all recently went through, especially those in the business world, knew that between manufacturing and sourcing and fulfillment, there were incredible challenges like we've never seen on such a grand scale. Having a very specific, hyper-focused vision is critical right from the get-go. So whether you've sold your first product or you're still in the infancy phase or you're in year 5, staying within that vision is, to me, being intentional, knowing what the brand stands for, knowing where you won't veer right or left and won't take you off the path is one of the critical markers of sustainable success. Becoming a B Corp brand, and I'm not sure how many people are familiar or even gone through the process, it is to this day the highest standard you can achieve for a brand. It stands for being the most ethical from a socio consideration, from being an environmental standpoint as a brand, and ensuring that the brand, in every consideration, from sourcing ingredients, from manufacturing, from how you communicate with customers, has the highest integrity. So I'm so proud that Wash with Water is in the company of Patagonia and Ben & Jerry's and brands that have always stood for their core values. To me, having those values and being aligned to that within your vision, and I actually create a vision board. I don't write things down. I cut out pictures. I paste it all over. But keeping that and keeping it close to you, however you do it, whether you're scripting and you're journaling it, or if you're more technical and it's in a Google document, it really doesn't matter the format. It matters that you have it in place and it becomes your testament to what you stand for as a brand.
So with your corporate background, did you find that some of the things that you learned in corporate, or that maybe even subconsciously, that transferred into how you ran your business?
Absolutely. Corporate America was the best mentorship I could have ever have asked for. I was in corporate America for over 10 years with one of the largest global pharmaceutical companies in the world. And there's a lot of components that I learned in corporate America that I was able to apply. And to me, one of the biggest ones is think big, right? So I did not know what Wash with Water would become, but I certainly believed it had the potential. So my business vision from the get-go was going to be a global enterprise. And we didn't look like that year 1, but that's what I was building towards. And I think that's one of the greatest things about corporate America is to have the infrastructure to really build out what it's going to take. Another factor that really was quite relevant from my experience in corporate America is making sure you double dot those I's and double cross the T's. It's the boring stuff that no one wants to talk about in business, but it's about having that trademark attorney right from the get-go, having your patent attorney. It's about doing all of the right things from the get-go, having your CPA, having your accountant. It's the boring stuff. It's the administrative stuff, but people don't talk about it as enough. And doing the right thing from the very beginning protects the brand, it protects your all of the hard work that you're putting into the brand, and it ensures that you're going to be in a really solid spot as you continue to grow success. And I also think corporate America taught me to have a solid business plan. People need to put the plan into their action and into the intention that they want to create. And I was able to have that type of formal training and knowing if I want a brand to be able to do X, Y, and Z, to be PETA certified and Leaping Bunny certified, then I need to be taking, reverse engineering. And what does that need to look like in terms of the farmers that we work with, in terms of sourcing organic ingredients? What do certifications look like? So I would always encourage everyone, especially creatives. Sometimes it's not fun for us to sit at the desk and do the hard work and all the administrative work, but prioritize it as much as the fun packaging and all the creative stuff, because that is going to be critical when you're in year 5, year 10, year 20 and beyond.
Especially as you get big.
Yes.
Yes. And I'm so glad that you brought that up, because it's easy for us, for most entrepreneurs are the visionaries, right? And so we are creative in some way. And to do the technical part, making sure we have those contracts in place and that we have the finances in place and all of the intricacies that we need to be successful and not get ourselves into trouble are taken care of. So let me ask you this, that type of work is not cheap to hire a good patent attorney and also all of the finances and all of that. Did you have funding already, or did you go out and seek funding?
So Wash with Water is self-funded, and we were able to maintain self-funding until just 3 years ago, which is really exciting. And all of that was budgeted for, which meant that I had to hustle and do organic marketing because we didn't have a huge marketing budget, because a lot of the budget went into all the protection work in the very beginning. It went into all the bureaucratic side of running a business to make sure that we were covered. Especially for me, one of the biggest lessons for if I came out of corporate America that I learned was you've got to create very, very good products in order to maintain consumer trust. We live in a litigious society, and we live in a society where people think brands can just, be created overnight. And that just, I wasn't attracted to anything that was gimmicky or following some trend. I wanted to create a brand that would be a legacy brand. And so, yes, R&D, that takes up so much of your budget. The sunscreen that we just launched, which is something I'm so incredibly proud from a product formulation standpoint, but also the fact that the packaging is from Ocean Rescue Package, which is a plastic we've invented from shoreline litter. Most of the budget for that went into R&D. It's years and years of research to put out the very best with FDA trials, clinical trials. I mean, it's not, I just wish more people would spend a lot. It's not as sexy of a conversation, but I wish more founders would talk about this, because that is what is usually catches people off guard too late in the process. And so I'd love to protect people and let them know that that's really where your attention and the budget should be. And it's you and the hustle and your passion that's going to have to carry where the money doesn't, where the money isn't.
Yes. And so that's such an important, I'm so glad that you brought that up, because when we start a business, we're excited, right? And we're thinking of, we're going to create these beautiful products. And like you said, the packaging is going to be amazing and everyone's going to want it. But from what I'm hearing from you, you really focused a lot of time and money on building a strong foundation instead of focusing so much on, okay, how am I going to hustle and get this money in right now to pay for this stuff that I'm doing? It sounds like you were very disciplined in how you approached your business. So you had your plan, your business plan, and really thought that out. I'm guessing it took you a while. You had some, did you work alone with creating your business plan, or did you have someone who was helping you with that?
Yes, I 100% worked by myself. I was fortunate though, so I did spend 10 years in corporate America. I had a street MBA, as you could say. And I also was very clear on the vision. I knew exactly what Wash with Water would be. I knew how it would be distinct in the market. And we're talking over 10 years ago where you just didn't see clean skincare like what we had created, especially in the baby market. I knew I wanted to create a luxurious brand that mothers would enjoy themselves, but that would feel so proud of putting on their babies. And then I wanted to go bigger. I wanted to have an impact on the environment before people were talking about green certification. I knew that was really, really important to me because of the way I grew up in Vermont. We had such a close, unique footprint growing up in a co-op myself. And I just always felt like I wanted to give back to Mother Nature. It wasn't something I just was going to take from. I wanted to always give back. We're a proud member of 1% for the Planet now, and we're B Corp certified, and we achieved plastic negative certification. We really hit all the check boxes, but that was already baked into the business plan way back when. And I do want people to know it's important to also be compassionate with yourself as a founder and an entrepreneur, that these things are not achieved overnight. B Corp certification for our brand was just recently achieved within the last 2 years, but it was still something that we were working towards every single day. And as long as you're reaching towards your goals by working towards them in the daily activities of your brand, you will get there. Doesn't mean you have to have everything, tomorrow, but as long as you're working towards that, that's what's most important.
Yeah, I talk a lot with my clients about is the systems and the processes. You know where you want to go, you know what you want to create. But as long as you're staying with those systems and processes that you have in place to help you get there, that's kind of the key. So even though you have a goal, maybe you were thinking, I want to become I don't know what you were thinking, but if in becoming a B Corp, maybe you wanted to become a B Corp in year 5. And that may or may not have happened, but as long as you're still following that promise that you made, your core values of the business and the processes and the systems, it eventually will happen. And so I don't know what, I just thought that was a great example to help people see that, because so often what I see, Stephanie, is we set goals and then we miss them, right? With our business. And then we start beating ourselves up and we go into that negative spiral. But what I'm hearing from you is you knew where you wanted to go and you just kept on taking action towards it. But you were very clear and you had it all laid out. You knew that year 1, you were not going to become a B Corp. You are not going to have packaging made from some new thing that you invented, which kudos to you. That's amazing. But you had the big vision. And so I really want people to hear the message behind what you're saying. Know where you're going, know what the core values are of your business and of yourself. It sounds like it all needs to be very in alignment with you, which I am a huge proponent about. And then you just keep doing it. You just keep moving forward and things will start to unfold the way when they're meant to unfold.
Exactly. And there's so much hustle behind it as well. Sometimes I hear founders talk and it's like, I had this idea and we found this tiny little 1,200 square foot retail space. And now we have 70,000 stores all over and I'm like, it's important to tell the entire journey. I will say, I have 4 children now. I was hustling. I was bi-coastal. I was on those planes with breastfeeding babies and at pop-ups and knocking on doors. It was so much grind. It is not a pretty thing. I was packing the orders myself. I was staying up till 3 o'clock in the morning to get orders out, big retail orders out. I was doing all the work myself. There wasn't a team of 100 people. It was me. So we had the money to reinvest back into the brand. And those are some of that's the grit you need to have unless you're going to decide to take on big investment right from the get-go. That was also something like, how are you going to fund this? It was a very deliberate decision to be self-funded because I know the vision that I had was not going to be attractive to VCs. I really was less concerned about profit and creating something that was going to be so unique in terms of the consumer getting a product that exceeded expectations, but also doing something for the environment that hadn't been seen in the CPG industry to this level. And so I knew I was going to have to stay the course, and this was going to be something I was going to, carry the burden on my own shoulders.
Yeah. What would you say what has been the biggest challenge in building this business? I mean, gosh, I'm listening to you. I'm like, oh, challenge. I can see all these different areas, but was there ever a point, you have 4 children, was there ever a point where you thought, oh my gosh, what have I gotten myself into? And I just want to throw in the towel or just go bury myself and not come out for a while. Did you ever have a moment like that?
I don't know if there's one in particular that stands out because there's just challenges around every corner. I think two things that really resonate to me is I had a very hard time separating myself from the brand. I was the face, I was the voice of the brand, I was what everyone associated with the brand. So when the brand was riding highs, it was a good day. When the brand was struggling, all of a sudden I was struggling. I was too identified with the brand, and I would have a cautionary tale for future entrepreneurs or those who are in the mix right now. Remember, you are not your brand. The brand is its separate entity. And as founders, sometimes we identify too closely. And it's important to have a healthy separation. So that would be one piece of advice. And that was a big challenge in those early days. I couldn't separate myself from the brand. And that was a big learning lesson. I had to learn, like, wash with water is not Stephanie, and Stephanie is not washed with water. The second thing was the timeline never quite looks like what you prepare for. I mean, you can have the best laid out plan, but the timeline is what it's going to be. And I love the saying that redirection is God's protection. And you have to just remind yourself of that. I remember in year 2, I had a buyer from Target who had received the products for a baby shower, and she reached out to me and said, I'm obsessed. I'm in our baby department and I'm going to be presenting this. Target has to carry wash with water. And I thought, oh yeah, this, of course, Target's on my vision board. Why wouldn't wash with water be in Target? She ended up switching departments after her maternity leave. The presentation got passed to another person, another buyer. You know how the story goes. Wash with water did not get into Target. This year, 2023, Wash with Water finally launched at Target. Now,
congratulations.
I mean, if you had told me you're not going to actually launch until 2023, I would have been so disappointed back in 2012 when we were having this conversation. But I was nowhere prepared to be in Target in 2012. I had the confidence to be. I knew the product was a great fit, but the business was not yet there. So I would also just forewarn anyone to really give themselves some compassion. The timeline is going to unfold as it's meant to unfold. If you are staying true to your brand, you're doing the work, think great things will happen. Never give up on that dream, but have a little bit of compassion when it comes to that timeline, because all entrepreneurs are ambitious and we live and breathe our brands, and we're so proud of the work that we're doing. But that's probably been the biggest challenge, is just having that patience to know the timeline is meant to be what it's meant to be.
My last question is always, do you have one big tip for entrepreneurs when they're, as they go through their business and they want to create $1 million business? However, I think you just said it. Our business is not us. And we get so wrapped up. And just like you said, it's, the business has a good day. It's a great day for you. If it doesn't, it can knock us to our knees. But that is something that, especially as women, it transfers to men as well. But women, we have, we wear it. We wear it, and we pour our heart and soul into everything that we build, especially with our business. And it's having a way to mentally detach from our business so that we can still carry on and function, especially if you have kids and a family, right? You have to, in order to survive. I remember when our first business, I started with my husband, and oh my gosh, we're going through such a challenging period. And I remember thinking, I wish I could just get fired. I wish I could just get fired and then be free from this, because it stays with us 24/7, right? You wake up thinking about it, you go to sleep thinking about it, and often we think about it all night long as well. And so the fact that you brought that up really resonated with me, and I know it resonates with our audience as well. So thank you for just being transparent and real about what really goes on in raising a business.
Authenticity is how other women will have the opportunities to be a millionaire and beyond. It's an exciting time for all of us. I'm so grateful for the work that you do and bringing us all together in this really incredible community.
Thank you. Thank you. So I know that everyone's listening like, okay, well, where are these products? Where can we get this? Where shall we send our audience to go find your amazing products?
Well, you can always find us at Target.com and Amazon, but washwithwatercare.com will really tell the full story of the brand, the work that we're doing. It will also keep you posted on all of our ocean and park cleanups that we do around the country. And I write the blog still to this day, so it allows you to be a part of our family and lets us be a part of yours. So shoot on over there. We've got a great discount code that I know you'll share with your audience as well.
Yes, that is in the show notes. You can find all the links as well as that discount. So I encourage you to go check her out and check out her amazing products.
Thank you.
To be the best, you need to play with the best. You might not have your own personal high-level circle of women yet, but you can hang with us on the Female Millionaire Show. I'm Midori Verity, serial entrepreneur for over 25 years, and I interview badass female founders and cut through to what you really need to know. So in 20 minutes, you have what can take years to learn. If you're wanting to play bigger, come play with us. Join the female entrepreneur revolution today. Cheers.